What means meditation for you?
To do absolutely nothing and see all appearances and observe all appearances arising and then falling back into awareness, and then to see, to try and understand that all.
Try not to use try.
Yeah, all these appearances are arising in and out of consciousness, and then to find the source of these appearances and rest in that source without doing anything. Basically, something like that, isn't it?
Exactly. Just to be more concerned about the substratum where the appearances arise and fall than the appearances themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you want to focus more in the sky than in the clouds.
Yeah.
So you see this, of course, you notice the clouds are passing by, but you are more interested to focus on the sky. So if the sky is the symbol of awareness, the substratum, then you focus more on that rather than the clouds, which are the apparitions in the mind, the projections of the thinking process.
Yeah.
And when you do that, then all these apparitions, they're self-liberating. You don't need to force or to do any mental constructions or to stop them or to try to stop them or to try to give them any continuance or dissolution, because by themselves they will dissolve anyway. They will self-liberate.
Yeah. I tried that a little bit when I'm outside as well. It's quite difficult to ignore or to relate to this kind of unfathomable, mysterious awareness. That's. I was going to ask you because it comes up a lot when I'm doing this outside. How exactly to think about dreams? Obviously, in Buddhism and in Advaita Vedanta, we think about the dream analogy all the time, but how exactly to incorporate it into practically when you're walking around? Like if I go out tonight after we're talking, and I want to understand that this whole world that I'm walking around in, including myself, is a manifestation of consciousness, just like a dream. Exactly, what do I do exactly?
The method is to see through the awareness that whatever appears and disappears are just apparitions or modulations of the same awareness. And how you can do that? By focusing on that which is observing rather than in the observed.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, now there is an apparent dialogue between two so-called beings, Satchitananda and Arthur. But that which is observing now, this apparent dialogue, can you locate it?
No.
No, it cannot be located. So by becoming aware that what is observing, what is the witnessing consciousness of this apparent dialogue between two apparent beings, you have the ability gradually, sooner or later, to recognize that there is only that. Because without this Sakshi Chaitanyam or awareness or witnessing consciousness, there cannot be any transaction, there cannot be any apparition, any appearance or disappearance. So every apparent phenomenon or transaction or a thought or imagination or objects or the entire universe are just an observed thing. This observed thing is there because of the observer, not because of the observed thing. So what is observing this apparent dialogue, for example, now, is not a thing, and it cannot be located. The same with a dream in the night. Whatever appears and disappears has been observed by the observer. But there is only the observer. The observed, whatever may be in the dream, are only modulations of the observer. So by doing this practice as often as possible, to focus on what is there as presence, sooner or later, you recognize, you become aware that everything appears and disappears only because of awareness. And everything appears and disappears as modulations of the same awareness. It's like the example with the signal and the television. The signal is modulating as the person who says the news or a forest or a movie or whatever. The same signal. The same awareness modulates itself as whatever is observed. So all the rest is only a dream, only visualization or projection from awareness, in awareness, by awareness. There is no anything else at all. So that is the greatest secret, that there is only awareness. All the rest are only modulations of the same awareness. But it has to be recognized as often as possible in order to become a permanent recognition and conviction. Anyway, there is nothing else than that which you can call self-realization or enlightenment or moksha. Except then to become aware that there is only awareness, and whatever appears and disappears is only because of awareness, and the substance is only awareness in itself.
So like in a dream, all the dream objects are just manifestations of awareness that are observed by awareness.
Exactly. Nothing else is there except awareness. If you were to remove awareness, what can remain? Is it possible to remain something without awareness, without presence?
No, I remember one time I had a dream and I can't remember. Well, I can't remember if I was aware that I was dreaming or not. It doesn't really matter. But I was aware as the dream finished that awareness was dissolving, and
exactly.
And as awareness dissolved, I think I was looking at a door or something unremarkable. But as the dream dissolved, I became aware that the awareness was dissolving, and I saw the door, the appearance of the door start to dissolve simultaneously with the dissolution of awareness. But I was aware of that happening.
Exactly, because there is no other way for something to appear and disappear if there is no awareness there. So there is no any possibility for anything to appear or disappear without awareness. Because if you say no matter if I'm aware of an appearance, the appearance can be there anyway. The next question will be, and what will be that is aware of that appearance? Again, there has to be an awareness to be aware of that appearance. So the essence of everything that appears and disappears is only presence. How could possibly be otherwise? Presence is a prerequisite for anything to appear and disappear, correct? Is it possible to appear and disappear something without presence?
No.
No. Now, is it possible presence to be located somewhere?
No, not at a particular point, no.
No, it cannot. It cannot be possible. Because, first of all, presence is not an object, it's not a thing. It's not something that you can locate it or you can envelop it in a body-mind complex, for example. You can say, I put the eyes, for example, the eyeballs are located in the body. You can say so because the eyeballs are an object, are something that you can put it somewhere. But presence is not something that you can imprison it somewhere. It cannot be imprisoned even in the entire universe. You understand? And presence also is not personal. It is impersonal. Presence cannot be personal. Cannot be the property of the body-mind complex or of the so-called person or individual identity. The individual identity is property sometimes of presence, not the other way around. So let's say Andrew cannot have property presence as property presence. Presence does not belong to Andrew. Andrew belongs to presence as an appearance. And because Andrew appears and disappears, it's not the truth. It's not something permanent, something real reality. Because in the deep sleep without dreams, is Andrew there?
No.
No. So how can Andrew be the boss of presence or awareness? Andrew, anyway, every single night disappears in the deep sleep without dreams. So how Andrew can have as property awareness or presence? It is the other way around.
Yeah.
Andrew appears from time to time as an appearance, as an illusion, in presence, in awareness. All the rest is only a dream. And that's why there is no problem if Andrew has any kind of problems. Presence or awareness does not care at all. It's irrelevant. So no matter how much suffering the so-called Andrew has, or pain, or stress or worries or whatever, awareness or presence doesn't care at all. And it cannot be harmed by any means. So awareness or presence may see Andrew, somebody is cutting in pieces the body of Andrew with a knife. And awareness will say, oh, Andrew is cut it in pieces with a knife. How interesting. But awareness or presence will not be harmed.
Andrew will be, though.
Andrew, yes, but Andrew is only a protagonist in a movie, in a dream. Does not have inherent reality or existential substance. There is no such thing as Andrew or individual identity of any kind or any being of any kind. All that we call sentient beings or universe or whatever are only just like the waves in the ocean. There is no such thing as a wave. There is only water. Now, the wave is only a name and form, namarupa, only a concept, only a labeling, which does not have any existential or any substance of any kind. It's only a superimposition or a modulation of presence.
The problem with this example is always the fact that the physicality of the body is like, for example, with gold and the gold ring. It's easy to understand that the ring is just a projection or a conception. There's no actual ring. But you think, well, there is gold though. But you know also there's no gold, because if you analyze further, you can find the gold just consists of the gold also has individual parts, and then those parts have parts, and so on and so forth. So you can mentally dissect, and there's nothing there. However, the physicality of things is like serves as an obstacle to that understanding. Everything's just name and form.
Yes, but where is this physicality in the deep sleep without dreams?
Yeah, but it disappears. But in the normal waking life, the physicality is there, even though
it's there as a concept, only as a project of the thinking process.
But that's what makes it difficult for somebody like me. The fact that everything seems so solid and real, even though intellectually I can understand, yeah, well, it's just name and form. The physicality of things seems to oppose that.
Yeah, but you say me, where is this me?
It's nowhere to be found.
So the one who does not exist, and there is just a superimposition or a namarupa, the me, Andrew, the I thought, ahamkara, says, mamakara, this body-mind complex is mine. Both of them do not exist. The physicality and the one who says, this is my body, my physicality, both of them do not exist. They cannot be found anywhere as a substance. Even from the point of view of quantum physics, there is no such thing as physicality. There is no matter as such.
Yes, but it's still difficult to realize this experientially, not intellectually. Intellectually, it's easy to realize, relatively.
Yeah, but even the so-called solidity of the physical body is only an illusion. There is no any solidity, even from the standpoint of quantum physics.
Yes, I know, but I'm saying despite that, it's still difficult to get the understanding.
Still difficult for whom?
Me.
Where is this me?
Right here, right now.
Are you sure?
Not at all.
There is only an appearance of a body which is made of energy or information. And the one who says, this is my body, cannot be found anywhere. No matter how you try, even if you try for trillions of years, the one you call me cannot be found by any means.
Yes, I've had glimpses of this.
It's only a concept, only a superposition, a label, nama rupa, name and form.
Yes, because you can ask.
Yes.
You can ask yourself in meditation or out of meditation. You can ask yourself, okay, so what is there? You say, okay, there's a body, but that's not me because I think my body. Clearly, the possessor of the body is clearly different. Same about my thoughts. I can say, okay, there's a thought, but it's not me. It's my thought, and the my is clearly a different entity than the thoughts. And then even you can think awareness itself is who's aware. I am aware. And so then you've got what else exists apart from the body, the thoughts, and awareness? There's nothing else. And yet, despite that there's nothing else other than those three things, still the I, the ego, Andrew, appears. And I'm fooled by it. Even though in meditation I can label all the things that exist and none of them are me, none of them are the owner. It's such a strong instinct, this I.
The I do appears also as an illusion, the small I. The I thought, which means I am this body-mind complex, is also an appearance somewhere. And this somewhere is only awareness.
But it appears, but you can see the appearance of it, but it's just a thought.
Exactly, like a name and form, like the wave in the ocean. The substance of the wave is not waveness. The substance of the wave is water. Just like the substance of the golden ring is not ringness, it is gold. The same, like everything that appears and disappears is only presence, only awareness. Now, whatever appears in awareness, you can call it something, you can superimpose a name and form, but that doesn't mean that it is really there as an independent object or entity with substantial existentiality.
Yes, that's the point I'm trying to make as well, because yes, the I does appear, but it's just in the category of thoughts. It's not. There's no separate independent person, as you just said, as an independent, self-existent thing that is the owner of awareness, the body, or thoughts. The Andrew is just a conception, and you can see that, or awareness can see that, but it's deepening that understanding, and when you're in meditation, that the I thought, it's difficult to see it. For me, in any way, it's difficult even in meditation to see the I thought for what it really is, just a thought. Needs practice, no?
It needs a more constant seeing of the truth. The seeing that sometimes appears as wisdom, that no, I'm not this I, apparent I, small I called Andrew, but I am that which is accommodating, unveiling or illumining this I, this apparent I, small I. I am that awareness, that which is accommodating, that which is aware of this small apparition as a small I. And
exactly.
By making this seeing as often as possible, in a mature state, this will become a permanent recognition and conviction. It needs this seeing to be permanent, not coming and going. It needs to be a real deep conviction and recognition on a permanent basis. And that, for that to happen, needs 24/7 to see the truth, not only in the meditation session, but also pre-meditation and post-meditation sessions.
But it's not enough to observe the concept I and realize it's just a concept. Is it also important to understand, to focus, as you said before, on the witnessing consciousness that is making that observation? Is it, do both happen simultaneously? You simultaneously understand, oh, this Andrew is just a thought, and simultaneously you realize that it's the witnessing consciousness that is observing this mere thought.
Yes, this step further, it needs the recognition of the illumining factor or the accommodating factor, which is presence itself or awareness itself.
So
it's not enough to recognize. It's not enough to recognize the small I appearing and disappearing, the illusory I.
So is it something you do in stages? First of all, you realize, oh, the I is just a thought, just a conception. There's no real I. You focus on that, and then you extend. Later, you extend, or do you try and do both at once?
It depends on previous sadhana from previous dream lifetimes. The maturity that the so-called somebody have achieved. From an apparent somebody, this can be simultaneously, and from another apparent somebody, maybe needed 100 million times, million dream lifetimes. It depends.
Just 100 million.
Yeah, it depends on the previous sadhana and recognition of the truth, of the real nature, and what is the maturity achieved till now. It's like you have a kid like Mozart who is able to create a symphony very, very young, like 5-6 years old. Mozart was able to construct and create a symphony, but not all kids have this ability.
No.
So others, they need just a reminder from a guru, an apparent guru, to enter this natural state of the truth. And others, they need millions of dream lifetimes to practice and to see the truth. Depends. There is no general rule. Also, it depends on which kind of spiritual paths and practices and sadhana somebody has followed before. Of course, before and after, all these are just expressions on this dream level, because in reality there is only the eternal here and now. But because we speak from the standpoint of the apparent somebody, the illusory somebody, unfortunately we need to use such expressions as before and after. But from the standpoint of the illusory somebody, there is before and after. From the standpoint of the absolute truth, there is only the eternal here and now. Anyway, from the point or the view, the standpoint of awareness itself, awareness don't need any effort to do. Awareness don't need any sadhana to do. Awareness don't need to become self-realized or enlightened. It is already enlightened and self-realized. But the one who speaks about samsara and nirvana and self-realization or not, we have to use such expressions which are on the level of the dream vyavaharika reality.
So I'll probably, after we finish talking, I'm going to go out for a walk. How to incorporate all this understanding into my walk.
You ask, something is observing this body-mind complex called Andrew walking. How can I locate this witnessing consciousness or awareness or presence? Is it possible to locate it somewhere? Is it really the property of this body-mind complex? Let me find out. Where is it, this awareness, this presence? Does it have a beginning point or an ending point? Is it really somewhere or nowhere? Or such expressions do not have any meaning? And since it does not come as a property of the body-mind complex, this presence is encompassing everything that appears and disappears. And when everything appears and disappears, it still remains unchanging. The body-mind complex is working. Andrew appears as a thought, as I thought, and disappears. But this presence, this awareness, is always unchanging. Always the same presence, always the same witnessing consciousness, always the same awareness. No any change. No matter what appears in the body-mind complex called Andrew, the awareness itself or presence itself cannot be harmed, cannot be affected by any means. It is a constant knowing principle. It is a constant illumining, accommodating principle. And all the rest are only appearing and disappearing except that. So you are aware of this truth as often as possible until a mature stage where there is no need to inquire about presence or awareness itself. It will become itself self-revealing. It is always self-revealing, self-illumining. It has also always self-perfection, but you keep not noticing it due to the veiling of the thinking process. It acts like a curtain, like a veiling. It has to be removed so to see the truth of this accommodating, illumining factor. It has to be seen on a permanent basis. It has to be a permanent recognition and conviction that this awareness only exists. Nothing else exists really, except that.
And if, for example, I go into a shop and I talk to somebody in the shop, is there a need to go any further than what you've just explained? For example, it could be helpful to think, it could be helpful to think this is just like a dream. I mean, in a dream, I can talk to somebody in a shop. This is just an appearance in consciousness. Is it helpful to think like that in addition to what you previously said, or is that just unnecessary?
Only don't say I am in a dream. You can say Andrew is experiencing a dream, because our awareness is not in a dream. Awareness is accommodating the dream of Andrew.
Yeah, sure.
So you should not say I am in a dream. Andrew, I am accommodating the dream of Andrew, interacting with this person in that shop. But the person, Andrew, and the entire universe where this apparent phenomenon or event takes place or appears and disappears is only a dream. But the screen where this dream appears and disappears is what I am. Always unchanging. Always indifferent with what appears and disappears in this dream.
So you're relating to the screen, realizing the appearances are manifestations from the screen and not the screen itself.
The manifestations or apparitions are not having any substance other than awareness presence itself. They don't have a different substance or a different essence of any kind. The one who is observing is the only reality.
Yeah.
The presence appears itself as the entire apparent universe and the apparent beings and the apparent objects and the apparent phenomena or events. Just like the waves in the ocean, they are just the substance of the water. They don't have the substance of a wave, or they don't have inherent existence as waves. They are just water. It's just like you want to, Andrew has let's say, a headache and goes to the doctor, a headache, for a long time, and then goes to the doctor and says to the doctor, I have a headache. And then the doctor said, you can use this pill or this medicine to deal with this pain that you have. But in reality, the body or the head has the pain, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Not you.
Mm-hmm.
But it is that habitual tendency, whatever appears in the body, to say, I have this problem, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say there is another problem in the belly, and there is a pain in the belly or in the stomach. And you say, I have a pain. I have pain. You don't say the belly has a pain.
Correct.
And sooner or later, you become identified with the body. It's like you are driving the car to go to your job. And instead of saying, I'm driving the car, you say, I am the car.
Yeah.
But it is a terrible mistake or error, because you are not the car. The same, you are not the body. There is a usage of the body for transactions in this dream, but that doesn't mean that you are the body. The body is also useful in the dream state. There is a transaction in the dream body with other dream bodies. And in the dream state, you have this habitual tendency to believe that you are the body. Instead of saying in the dream, I see the body is transacting with other dream bodies, but I'm not this body. I am the consciousness which is accommodating this dream, this movie, and I'm not this body, this dream body. The same with the big dream of the so-called waking state. Instead of saying, I see this body-mind complex Andrew interacting with other body-mind complexes, you say, I am Andrew interacting with others. So it becomes such a strong habitual tendency that after it becomes terribly difficult to overcome. Then there is a need of a dream guru, a dream path, spiritual path, dream scriptures, dream sadhana, dream spiritual tools and paths and methods in order to overcome the dream identification with the body-mind complex, which is only an apparent superposition in consciousness, your own self. Then you say, I need self-realization, enlightenment, or moksha, to go out of samsara and to find nirvana, or enlightenment, or peace. When all these are also part of the dream. Samsara and nirvana are also part of the dream. There is no such thing as samsara or nirvana, except as concepts. When you identify with the body-mind complex, you are experiencing samsara. When you are disidentified with the body-mind complex, you are experiencing nirvana. both of the experiences are states of the mind. And the mind is also an appearance in consciousness, in awareness, presence. So all are modifications of the mind. All are states of the mind, such as the dream in the night. Nobody was there to hurt you in the nightmare, even though you have experienced pain. But then you wake up and you realize that it was just a nightmare. The same with the nightmares in the waking, so-called waking state of the big dream of life. When you are waking up, when you are wake up, you say, oh, it was just a nightmare. Nothing can happen to me, infinite awareness presence. It was just a nightmare. All this about samsara, it was just a nightmare. But now I wake up and I'm not harmed. I cannot be harmed. So samsara and nirvana are only states of the mind. Just like the dream state, the so-called waking state, and the deep sleep without dreams, all of these are just states of the mind. Awareness is always there in all these three states, the same, no change. It's only the substratum.
Yeah, so as you said before, it's not correct when I go out for my walk to think I am dreaming. Rather, that all appearances are manifestations of presence, including the I thought, including my body. All phenomena are manifestations of presence, just like all phenomena are manifestations of presence in the dream state. There's no difference from that point of view. And relate to the presence where all of these appearances, including my own body and my own mind, my own I, arise from, to relate to that.
Rising and falling back like the waves in the ocean or the clouds in the sky. No difference for the ocean, for the water, if there are waves rising or falling down. No difference for the sky if there are clouds passing by. Does the sky have any problem? Because there is the appearance of clouds from time to time.
I don't think so.
No problem. The same with the ocean. No problem, no difference if there are waves or not. So if Adriu don't need to see something else, we can close for tonight.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So namaste and
Namaste.
good night.
Good night.